Ladies, welcome to the Feminine Mystery. My name is Azalea Dawn, and on my channel I talk about leveling up, femininity, hypergamy, and everything you need to get into a relationship with the right masculine provider for you. If that sounds like something you might like, then please check out the rest of the videos on my channel, and feel free to subscribe if you like it. Today's video we'll be talking all about the wealthy men of Western Europe, and the places in that region where you can go to meet wealthy men. I'll be breaking down things mostly city by city and talking about the overall vibe of what it takes to make it there. In my next video in this series, we'll be talking all about the wealthy men of the USA, and we'll mostly be focusing on guys by profession in the context of America. However, in Western Europe, a lot of wealth is inherited and multi-generational, so we won't be focusing on what people do for work. Instead, we'll be talking all about the cities themselves, the kind of people who are attracted to those cities, the social scenes within them, and what it'll take to really make a trip to that place worth it for you. So without further ado, let's get started. First up, we have Monaco. Now ladies, we couldn't start this video anywhere else besides Monte Carlo, Monaco. With the densest concentration of the ultra-wealthy in all of Europe, it's hard to walk down the street and not bump into somebody who is wildly wealthy relative to anywhere else in the world. Monaco is known all around the world, in fact, as a playground for the rich and famous, especially of Europe. It is a place where you're not only allowed to, but encouraged to really enjoy your wealth. And a part of that is because Monaco is one of the safest places in the entire world. So unlike the USA or Germany, where it's considered a little bit ostentatious to show off your wealth, in Monaco it's not really seen as distasteful, and in fact you'll see many people in the streets dripping in diamonds, gold, head-to-toe designer monograms, logomania, everything that they desire. The people who are attracted to living in Monaco really go there so that they can enjoy their money. They can enjoy all of the things that their money can afford them. That said, for the more tasteful residents, they do definitely enjoy the more subtle brands like Celine, Brunello Cucinelli, and Loro Piana. And trust me, ladies, if you decide that Monaco is somewhere that you want to be, then you definitely want to be well dressed at all times, because Monaco is an extremely small and tight-knit community. Everybody knows everybody, especially people who are there over the long term. Now, Monaco is a microstate carved out from France, so it shares a lot of French culture and customs in addition to a border. It also shares utilities like police and emergency services with France. Now, Monaco became a popular destination because of its relatively liberal and flexible lifestyle and culture, in contrast to Dubai, where, the local culture does practice Sharia law. In addition to its great climate and beautiful views of the ocean, Monaco serves as a destination commonly because it's also a tax haven with a large amount of legal flexibility for non-violent activity. In other words, ladies, you didn't hear this from me, but a lot of people who do things that would be considered white-collar crime in other countries go to Monaco because they will be insulated from any real legal consequences in Monaco. Now, that means that when you go to Monaco, you'll see a lot of Russians. I know that that's very controversial, but Russians, a lot of oligarchs, a lot of people who have a little bit more questionable backgrounds depending on your political compass there. However, Monaco is extremely, extremely safe. In fact, there's such a low tolerance for crime in Monaco that literally every report that is made to the police gets a full investigation. There are cameras everywhere in Monaco. You cannot even, pick up a dollar bill off the sidewalk without, it being a bit of an issue. So trust and believe, not that people in Monaco would want to do that anyways, but trust and believe that it is very, very safe. Possibly one of the safest places in the world, in fact. Now, because Monaco is such a small place of people who aren't exactly preoccupied with their work or their careers, let's just say, your reputation is everything in Monaco if you really want to get there and network with the affluent. People have all the time in the world to sit and talk about what's happening in their lives, who they've met recently, what they're like, etc. So you want to make sure that you are making a great impression when you're in Monaco. If you're looking to invest in a trip once you're pretty leveled up, I would suggest starting to book trips to their popular annual events that people in the jet set circuit tend to frequent, such as the Monaco Grand Prix, which will attract the world's most affluent people to Monte Carlo. If you're well-dressed and social, you'll have an easy time meeting women in the area who can be great friendships, great avenues to open up doors to great quality men in the future. Although, as a bit of advice, I would be cautious of asking any probing questions about their work or what they do, or anything related to money when it comes to the women that you're meeting. Just know that if you're there, if you're, with other people in Monaco, they're probably doing quite well because it's quite expensive just to afford being there in the first place. So you don't want to be in the business of asking a lot of qualifying questions as much as you want to be sure that you are nurturing your relationships, you are investing in your friendships, and you're really building up your social network. To really get ahead in Monaco, I would suggest going there once you're a little bit further along in your level up journey rather than at the beginning, because life in Monaco is, relative to most places in the world, very expensive, and going out in and of itself is essential for establishing your reputation, which will take a lot of financing. You can easily burn through 6 figures in a couple of months in Monaco. So if you really want to go there and have, a bit of savings ready to invest in making a reputation there in the first place. Now, if you're just looking to live in Monaco, maybe over the long term, it's still going to cost, right? Even if you're not there in the peak season for something like the Monaco Grand Prix, being there as a local is going to definitely be quite expensive. The area is literally built to be an enclave for the wealthy. So if you're not there working a job, which is something that is typically done via invitation in Monaco, you are going to need to have a lot of money, 6 figures in euro, just to be deposited in order to open up a bank account in Monaco. And that bank account is going to be essential for things like getting an apartment, getting a car, meeting your basic living expenses. It's going to take you 6 figures in euros just to be able to open up a bank account at all in Monaco. So this is definitely not somewhere that you can go and just be if you don't have quite a bit saved already. But if you do have, a bit of money to invest in your level up and in, your networking, Monaco is a great place to go because almost everyone you meet is doing incredibly well. Next, we're going to be talking about Cannes. Now, the south of France in general is a great place to go for your level up journey, and it's a lot more approachable in terms of price point than Monaco as well. This is definitely a place where you can go just as a little bit of a vacation to network with people who are also trying to enjoy their summer, but it's also a place that is a part of the jet set circuit because Amphar is held in Cannes, as well as the Cannes Film Festival. But unlike Monaco, the vibe of Cannes is much more pared down and local during the off-season. You will pay a bit more than you might expect for basic things, yes, but as far as the fashion, you won't be spotting so many Birkins and Kellys, Hermes exotics, and things like that. You'll mostly be seeing people wearing things that are laid back, casual, elegant, and beachy, and made by, people just living there locally. It'll be much easier on your finances to get to Cannes or the south of France in general than to Monaco by far, in my personal opinion, especially when it comes to just the basics of living. Now, in Cannes, you will have the opportunity to be very social. It's a great place to get out, meet and mingle with other people, to get on yachts and to spend time with the elite, enjoying the lovely weather of the beach. You'll also meet a lot of celebrities on holiday because they're really enjoying the fact that there are different laws in the area regarding things like paparazzi. So it offers a lot of privacy as well as a lot of insulation away from the mainstream American public. You'll also find that there are a lot of celebrities who have second or third homes out in Cannes or in the south of France in general. Now, in Cannes, your personal brand is really going to rely very heavily on you having a unique look to draw people in rather than looking so expensive. So while in somewhere like Monaco or Dubai, somebody like a seductive will get very far, in Cannes, exotics do great because your unique beauty will really stand out and draw in crowds. It's going to draw people to you. So if you have any sort of like unusual beauty feature like dark skin or textured hair or a very like unique fashion sense even, or maybe you just have like a very unique look altogether like a Rose McGowan type, right? Any type of unique beauty will go over very well in the south of France. It will attract all sorts of people to you, and you will be seen as this very different, exotic, and available kind of woman who's out there. So being able to really work with things that are locally available, like the pieces that are locally sold in several shops out there, and being able to integrate those into your look will go a long way. Now, when it comes to meeting men and especially qualifying their finances before going on to continue with them, right, it's all about the yacht. Now, it is a certain level of pretentious to, see something that is clearly a yacht and just call it a boat. But for clarity, I'm going to be referring to things as yachts. Now, all other things are quite flexible in Cannes, from clothing taste to wine, but the yacht will really tell you all about a man's finances in Cannes. It is literally the point of being there in the first place, owning a yacht, being on the yacht, being out in the water, enjoying the beautiful nature. It's what they do, it's very like when in Rome, do as the Romans do. When in Cannes, you get on a yacht. Now, for those of you who have made a little bit of progress in your level up journey and who want to really start to add more jet set travel to your list of investments in yourself, this is a place that I would definitely recommend you try, because worst case worst, you leave with some great Instagram photos for your feed and the best tan of your life. Next up, where would we be without talking about Paris? Where could one find a better place to have a once-in-a-lifetime romance than the City of Lights? Paris is a global paragon of art and culture, and this has made it one of the most desirable places for the rich and famous of the world to live full-time. In addition to those who live in Paris, even more of the world's rich and well-connected travel to Paris to shop. Right? Because of this, ladies, Paris offers you the opportunity to meet men from across the entire spectrum of wealth, right? From secret billionaires whose families haven't worked in generations to American celebrities, rappers, and athletes. Everyone loves to go to Paris, so this is a great place to spend maybe 6 months to a year just making a bit of a reputation for yourself, especially if you're looking to also experience the local culture of France. Now, unlike many other places in the world, Paris is a place where people come from all over just to flex their fashion muscles. So ladies, you really must invest in being well dressed if you want to make it in the jet set scene of Paris. And no, I'm sorry to burst your bubble here, but a thrifted look of neutral colored pants and sweaters is not going to cut it in Paris. you really need to be able to spend in order to compete with the affluent women of the women of the affluent social scene, in Paris, right? Especially if you want to connect via social media or anything like that. You don't want to be the odd one out in a group of women who are all wearing Dior, Bottega, Chanel, and you're kind of, sitting there putting your TJ Maxx, purse on the table with them. That is going to stand out in not a very positive way. Now, I could make an entire video all about the most desirable places to go and see and be seen in Paris, but, when, you're there, there's no bad place to be in Paris. When it comes to the most desirable place to live, though, I would say, and excuse me as I butcher this, I do not speak French, right? I would say l'Avenue des Champs-Élysées, l'Avenue des Champs-Élysées. That is the place where you want to be, to meet the rich and well-connected in Paris, right? As far as where it is that you want to live, that is the place to be. That's the place to post on your Instagram story. That is the place that you want to spend the most time, even if you can't necessarily afford to live there all the way. That said, I do want you to be mindful, ladies. Crime in Paris is some of the most intricate, brutal, and well-executed crime in the world. There is no robbery like a Parisian robbery. They will really take everything, and they'll leave behind what they think is garbage too. If they don't like something, they will leave it and let you know, this is trash. So definitely be mindful when you are in Paris. Make sure that you are being smart, make sure that you have researched the area and that you have, a plan for what you can do if something were to happen to your identifying documents, etc. while you're in the city, because it is a very rough life to live in Paris for many of the people who are slowly being priced out of the city. It is very competitive and people really do not feel bad about a little bit of robbery in Paris. Remember that this is the place where Kim Kardashian was infamously robbed despite having all of that security. So don't underestimate what might be able to happen out there, but I would not let that discourage you from going to the most beautiful city in the world. Next up, we have London. Now, hopefully I can speed this up because I've been speaking for a while. But in addition to Dubai, London is one of the best places for single ladies who want to get in a relationship with an affluent man in the entire world. London is the capital of the Western world in many aspects, so you'll find no shortage of reasons that wealthy, well-connected men come to the city. London, in contrast to somewhere like Monaco, is truly one of the places in the world known for old money. Old money in many ways as a concept originates from places like London because many colonialists in the 1600s went on to make fortunes in the quote-unquote New World, right? It wasn't actually new. There were people living there, but in the New World, and that money provided for their family lines for generations, right? That money has been supporting them for centuries. So old money is not just a way of saying that somebody has good taste per se in London. Old money actually does have a meaning, and it is that in which a family of people has not worked or held a job in several generations. That really does exist in London, and you will meet people like that. Many people do nowadays use the word old money to kind of shame people who have worked or held a job, but I don't really think that aligns with a lot of the values in the United States. I think that people may want to look like old money, but everybody here likes to work. Money, regardless of its source, truly can't buy good taste. So that's what I would say there. Anyways, London is a great city for those of you who are early in their level up journeys because London has everything you need to work your way up the ladder and develop relationships with the affluent as you go. Because London is the home of the old money aesthetic, right? You really don't need designer this or that to look good in the way that you would in maybe like a Monaco, right? You really don't need designer items to compete. Many people in London appreciate simplicity, understated design, neutral colors, and good tailoring, so you can easily shop for pieces secondhand or have them altered and look stunning in the eyes of London's elite. Etiquette is also much more important in London than, say, in the United States, because you'd be hard-pressed to find somebody who cares what fork you use in America. But in the UK, that really shows how you've been raised. It shows your status, right? The way that you behave, how you speak, how you act, and the choices that you make are really what set the reputation, set the standard of your reputation for you when you're out and about, rather than the clothes that you're wearing. So this is a great place to really work on just having knowledge, like etiquette, right? Good manners, things like that, instead of, a bunch of expensive clothing. When it comes to meeting the elite in London, especially old money, education is everything. You want to be as close as possible to the most elite education that the city has to offer. So for young ladies who have yet to go to college, places like Cambridge and Oxford would be great investments for you. If you finish your primary education, right, your college education, I should say, but would be in the market and age range for maybe a graduate degree, then this would also be a good option because you can meet other people in the college circuit that you wouldn't have access to otherwise. By the way, I'm not saying you're too old for graduate school. I'm just saying that you might be a little bit older than the people who are available there to date. So that's just something to keep in mind. Anyways, as you work your way up in London, you can invest in upgrading your living situation and more aggressively going out and networking in the city. Either way, it's a perfect place to start your level up nice and early. Now, ladies, my final suggestion in this video are going to be the dual cities of Switzerland. Geneva is a city on the French border of Switzerland, while Zurich is on the German border of Switzerland. And as you might imagine, the culture in one versus the other takes after which side you occupy. In Geneva, as you might suspect, many people speak French, while in Zurich, many people speak German. In almost all of Switzerland, though, there's a pretty good proficiency in English. A guy I was seeing once told me that, of course, his English would be good. Because, of course, why would it not be if the majority of the media, the music, and the TV that you watch are in English? So he spoke really very excellent English in the time that I was seeing him, but that's a little bit besides the point. Anyways, Geneva and Zurich follow the city of Monaco as the number 2 and 3 cities with the highest concentration of millionaires in all of Europe. This means that if Monaco isn't your style, or if the lifestyle is a little too costly for you at this stage of your level up in Monaco, the next best places for you to go are going to be either Geneva or Zurich. Now, what's so good about Switzerland is that this is an excellent place to go if you're still in the process of working your way up in your level up. Ladies, if you hold a college degree from the United States, there are many job opportunities in Switzerland for native English speakers, so you don't have to have so much in savings to go ahead and move here. While Zurich and likely Geneva too are some of the most expensive cities in the world to live in, that is true. You can find affordable housing there, right? It is built and there is an infrastructure in place in which to do that, as opposed to somewhere like Monaco where they're really trying to keep people who might not be able to afford it out of it in the first place. Now, you might be wondering, well, what kind of woman is really going to get far as, being in either Geneva or Zurich? Well, in Geneva, a seductive who knows how to keep things classy and elegant and local free will get very far. I would say in both cities, the exotic woman is definitely a great candidate. Because of your unique beauty attributes and the fact that you offer something really different to what's available locally, you're really going to get a lot of attention here. And that attention won't necessarily come with the expectation of you having a bunch of designer goods, because the culture there, it's very Swiss, very subtle. It's seen as a bit of a social faux pas to talk about money in the first place, especially in Zurich, which shares a lot of that German culture there as well. So you won't really find people who are expecting to see you, wearing Chanel or Gucci or Hermes per se. People there really believe in quality above all other things. So it's about really knowing your materials. It's about really knowing what looks good on you. It's about really knowing what is worth your money. And when you really demonstrate this kind of, financial acumen about yourself, such that you don't even have to speak about it, that is when you're really going to start to be able to open up connections with the affluent, especially in somewhere like Zurich, where it won't be uncommon for you to see somebody who looks entirely plain and actually is a secret billionaire. They are going back to this expensive compound with heated floors and all kinds of, luxurious accoutrements, but you would never know just based on the way that they look. I would say that both Geneva and Switzerland, and Zurich, are the dual cities in which you will find a lot of the secret billionaire types in particular. People who are very, very private, but little do you know, they have a lot of wealth at their disposal. Now, ladies, that's going to be it for me in this video. If you've enjoyed it, then please leave a like below and check out the rest of the videos on my channel. In the rest of this series, I'll be talking not just about the rich men of the Middle East. I'll also be addressing the rich men of the United States as well. So look forward to that video. And subscribe to my channel below if you think that sounds right for you. Until next time, I'll see you then.